Hello, everybody. This is Manners. I'm making my long awaited network return. I know you've been all craving for it. Well, I am back. We got a Kirk Minahan show episode this week. So that's right. I've returned to review the episode from Thursday. Just want to clear up something because I know this means a lot to the viewers. Just don't be confused. This is Manners Minutes, not Tiny CEO. I just wanted to use that music to open with because I know Jackson really likes that music. So I played the music for Jackson. But, Tiny CEO is done. I'm not the CEO of the network anymore. John is. So this is Manners Minutes where I jump on and give a few short takes on the show, the most recent show, and a couple of bits of content I guess I'm going to discuss today. Obviously the show, but also Kirk was on with Jerry and Rico this week. So if I can't even remember what it's called, but House Call maybe. But if you miss Kirk like all of us do, and you want some really inside Barstool talk, definitely go and watch House Call because it's great to have Kirk with some people who actually want to talk and have things to say and thoughts, unlike Cullinane and Justin. And that's big when I'm saying that's Jerry and Rico, because remember they're two morons as well. So when they're a level above Justin and Cullinane, you're in dire straits. But enjoyable stuff with them, very inside Barstool. They talked about the Vrabel stuff. I don't think they mentioned Big Ev. I might have missed it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Big Ev stuff was edited out because that could be worth lots and lots of money for Barstool. So yeah, that's probably one of the best bits of content Kirk's done in the last couple of weeks. He's done a ton of shit content, but no Kirk Minahan show apart from the one episode. So let's get into it. Well, firstly, the episode started with them calling Justin, and he was asleep because he's on night duty, and they woke him up. And yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm not sure how happy Justin would have been to get that call. I think, or Mary would have been for Justin to get that call because Justin's on paternity leave. Getting a call when you're on paternity leave to go on the show and talk about it, I'm not sure that's going to fly, which is why I think Justin will be out of KMS pretty soon. It's not that Kirk doesn't know boundaries, but maybe he doesn't know boundaries. Or maybe that was prearranged. They told Justin, look, we're going to call, but didn't seem like it because he was asleep. So I just think we're nearing the end of Justin. Well, there were some other comments made about him, but Mary's going to be like, this is not going to fit with us being parents, and then he's going to move on. So we didn't get much from that call, did we? Just that the baby apparently shits every 2 days, which is I don't think right. So we're already seeing a glimpse into their parenting. But I don't know. I mean, they're probably great parents. But I just don't think they shit every 2 days. I mean, it depends. Anyway, so we got that. A crazy story that Bill Trudell missed the birth to go on a cruise. That is wild. So I guess the cruise was booked before he knew about the pregnancy, maybe. But even then, like if I'm a grandparent, I'm not booking a cruise a month either side of the due date. So I think booking it, if he knew and he booked it 2 weeks before, that's crazy town because babies can come 2 weeks early all the time. You're not giving yourself any leeway. If he'd already booked it before he knew that Justin was having a baby and going to be a father, and he saw it and thought, well, it's 2 weeks before the due date, I might just take a chance. I guess I can kind of understand that a little bit more, but still, I would have just tried to change the date because you don't want to be on a cruise when your son becomes a father for the first time. It's just a bad look. Bad look. But I like Bill Trudell. I've never met him, but he seems like a great guy. Big fan of the show. I like the story that Mary's water broke and Justin had to storm out of the studio and go and take her to the hospital. I can imagine how dramatic that was. And what was it the day Kirk was supposed to record Billboard Chart Guy show with Mama Kay and Billboard Chart Guy? So I think that still got done. So don't worry. I think if you haven't heard it, go and listen on the podcast app. Kirk is with Billboard Chart Guy and Mama Kay. And I will challenge you to listen to that whole episode. If you can listen to that whole episode, like screenshot it to me and send it to me. I want evidence because even I couldn't get through right to the end. I'm just joking. If you're into Billboard charts, I know it's a great show. I'm just honestly not into Billboard charts and reminiscing about Billboard charts because obviously I didn't grow up with Billboard charts. But Kirk loves it. It was stolen by Mama Kay. So this was Kirk's idea. He said it on the show. And then Mama Kay thought, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do it on the network, which I think is awesome. That's the way the creative process works. So he was on that. So if you haven't missed it, if you have missed it, go and find it. Billboard chart guy and the show got done. Justin is a dad, and they were talking about his 12 weeks leave. Cullinane was like trying to give him advice to spread it out, etc., etc. 12 weeks is a long time. It's a huge amount of paternity leave. Not that I'm saying it's undeserved. I mean, this is a beautiful time in his life and he should take it. Don't know if Kirk's too happy about it. I don't think making calls while he's on paternity leave to him means it's paternity leave. And yeah, I think Justin should come. Well, actually, Cullinane and Kirk were saying that Justin's not really doing anything. So maybe this is the time for. But how can Justin take 12 weeks off if there's Laconia to prepare for? Because it's very confusing. I would say then Justin should come back in a couple of weeks, work sort of May to June, getting ready for Laconia. And then after Laconia, maybe take some more time off. I mean, let's be honest. Justin's not going to do anything creative for Laconia. I mean, all he does is walk around with Kirk pretending to be security. But we all know Justin couldn't do anything. Actually, that's not true. Saw the basketball. Justin can get wild. Yeah, okay. So he's good at security. I'll give him that. He's good at security. And if he needs a proper job, then maybe that could be the avenue he goes down post KMS, like a doorman somewhere, run a security company. That's all ex-cops do that. He could just miss the cop bit. He could get Bill involved. He could get Bill Trudell Sr. He could get Bubba. Bubba could be like the face of his security company. Just not do anything, but just like his face. Bubba's Security. I think it's a good idea. I think this could be Justin's next big business. Because he certainly can't produce a podcast, that's for sure. So he's got to start looking elsewhere. I like it. Bubba's Security. Interesting. I might start it myself. Anyway, so yeah, Justin could come back, prepare for a little while for Laconia, and then take more of that 12 weeks afterwards. Because the thing is, early on, and Kirk said this on the show, but in the first little while, babies just sleep, shit, breastfeed. You know, it's not until they get to a little bit older, and I can't even remember when, a few months old, that they really start to, need more attention, and they start crawling around, all that type of stuff. It gets way, way, way more intense. They start to move around and become destructive and more messy and annoying and that kind of thing. So if I'm Justin, I would spread it out. What does that mean for the Kirk Minifan show? I don't know. Ideally, you could take quite a bit of the leaves now, some after Laconia, and then he's back producing full-time for KMS after that, maybe. But I actually think he will never return from this 12-week break. And I think Kirk's plan will be hoping Justin leaves, and then when Justin's gone, he can start the show up again. Because I think he's trying to push Justin out. Not in a bad way. I just think he's subtly trying to move Justin on. Get a real job. You're a family man now. You're not very good at this anyway, so go and do something else. Because they did say more work is getting done without Justin around. So I don't know if that's to do with why that would be the case. Maybe he's distracting. I don't know. I can't imagine him getting in their way. He's not that type of annoying. But they did say more work is getting done. And Cullinane had a little shot at him when he was like, I thought he would be more interested in the case, which I find crazy. So what has Justin actually been doing? So he's not helping with the case, and nothing's been happening for KMS. There's been no new social content. There's been, what is Justin actually doing now? Because I thought he was helping with the case, doing stuff, but Cullinane's alleging that he's not interested in the case. So what did he do all day? I don't know. The studio's been renovated now. It's done. I just don't there's been no new social videos. It's so weird that Justin has this sort of phantom job where he does nothing. Very, very strange. Anyway, my headline for this show is that the pressure is on Cull to deliver now. So anyone that heard season 2 of The Case knows good investigative work by Kirk, but the podcast itself sounded like shit. Season 1 sounded pretty good because Steve Robinson actually has skills, whereas Dave Cullinane doesn't know how to produce a podcast, doesn't even know how to level audio, etc., etc., etc. Sounded awful in season 1, and now the pressure on Cullinane to deliver is coming. I mean, season 3, all the eyeballs will be on it. Kirk's put all his eggs in this basket. There's no KMS, nothing else. You know, all these other shows, BO Boys and Chasing Greens, they don't pay the bills. So the pressure on Cull now is to put this podcast together well. I'm going to say right here on Mena's Minutes that if Cullinane or Kirk wanted me to go through and do some work on the show to make it sound better, happy to help. I don't want to be one of these guys that just throws pot shots at Cullinane and Justin and Kirk without offering to help. So my services are available for the appropriate fee. Of course, I wouldn't do it for free, but would happily help to make it sound better. I have no doubt the investigative work that Kirk does with the assistance of Cullinane is going to be a triple plus. But the problem is there's going to be a disconnect between that and then getting it into an audio form. So anyway, the pressure is on Dave Cullinane. Make this sound good. I mean, this is supposed to be one of the leading true crime podcasts. Make it sound good. I mean, so yeah. Now the show started and I guess it's silly for me to continue to say this, but obviously Cullinane brings nothing to the show and hasn't for a long time, apart from being mildly entertaining on air. Like when Cullinane is on air, he can sort of vamp. You know, that's the difference between Cullinane and some of the other producers. But it started off with Kirk to Cullinane. So I don't know if anything's been tickling you. And Cullinane, no, I'm not paying attention to anything lately. So at least Cullinane's being upfront now. Like this was the case the whole time he's been producing the show this second time, but Cullinane has no idea what's going on with the Minifans, with the Mina world. He's got some vague little sort of pop culture gossipy type news that he loves, but he is like what's the you know, the circle diagram. If anyone's done ever like counseling or therapy, they'll know this circle diagram. Like when you're in a relationship, there's two circles, and you want to sort of a good relationship, they overlap, yeah, and there's a bit where you're overlapping with whoever you're in the relationship with, and that's how you have a healthy relationship. But if you're in a bad relationship, what happens is the circles become apart and they're just two circles and there's no overlap. And I think that's Cullinane and KMS, and has been for a while. Like he's just drifted apart, doesn't care, and now it's just here, and basically he just sort of looks on for headlines or whatever to talk about. But yeah, so he's being brazen about it now, that's for sure. But he could say to Kirk, well, you said the show's fucking over, so why do I need to pay attention to any of this shit? And it sort of made me think as well about sort of what's happening now with the Minifans and the show. And like the Minifans are kind of, well, actually we'll go back to the two circles thing. So if you've got like the Minifans in the show, so obviously when the show was going, the Minifans in the show were probably almost on top of each other. But actually now the Minifans in the show, they're still overlapping a little bit, but the Minifans is kind of getting a life of its own. It's kind of getting its own life, its own shows, its own news, its own internal stuff. Like Darren was a monster last night on Space. It just completely snapped. So there's things like that. But what I'm saying is, but just apart from that, like the Minifans and the community is taking on a life of its own, and that's becoming less, overlapping with the show. It still overlaps. It's not a Cullinane situation where the circles are far apart. But, as the show's stopped, and it's been quite a while now, the Minifans as a community have actually moved on, and there's still a lot happening within the Minifan community, but it's not as overlapped with the show. Well, speaking of shows, I'm not surprised that Mutt did not get back to Mick over going on Beyond Average podcast. People laughed at me when I exposed Mutt. People turned on me when I exposed Mutt. People were mean to me when I exposed Mutt. People would say to me, how can you hate Mutt? How can you hate Mutt? Well, this is why I hate Mutt. And I want all of you, every single one of you fuckers, to say, Manners, you were right. Manners was right again. He was right about Mutt. When everybody wanted to defend him against me, when everybody said I was being petty, no, I saw the signs. I saw what this guy was like. I saw the true monstrosity of his personality. And I tried to warn you all, and now all of you have been victims to Mutt too. I feel like, the people that warned actresses about Harvey Weinstein. I feel like that right now. Like I warned you all, and now there's just a litany of victims across the Minifan world that have been exposed to Mutt's horrors. So yeah, I warned you. Obviously sad for Mick because they were teammates, and this is a real kick in the teeth for him. It's coffee time here in Sydney. It's Saturday morning. I'm recording this. Great to have a few of you watching live. The network is not completely dead yet. Almost. Like it's on life support, but that's what happens when the CEO leaves and the show ends, etc. All right. What else from the show during the week? Okay. Kirk brought up the chicken fry, Alex Cooper stuff. I don't know if Cullinane did a good job of summarizing it. I'm not really sure. We got the hits from Kirk, because of course he's going to get stuck into chicken fry, saying she's ugly, etc., etc. Yeah, no, I got nothing really to say there, but just that Kirk played the hits there. Got stuck into chicken fry, and I actually thought that would be something Cullinane would be more into. Like I think he loves that kind of drama. I thought he'd have sound ready, he'd have talking points, etc., but he didn't. Then there was the Keys and Riggs stuff. Geez, Riggs is a drip, just the worst. And they talked about the CBS coverage and the Keys apology. I thought that was all pretty interesting because talked a lot on KMS about broadcasts and behind the scenes stuff. So I thought that was quite good to get Riggs on and to talk about the Keys apology. And I actually, Riggs on that interview said to Kirk, there's kind of an unwritten rule about criticism in TV, but it's not just in TV. I have to say, I've noticed this. Sports journalists within their specific fields, they get very upset when people criticize each other. I found that in cricket, like these specialist sports like golf and cricket and tennis, they have these sort of small communities of media that cover them around the world and in each country. And there is this unwritten rule that you kind of stick together and point the guns facing outward and don't make the story about yourself. But I think it's a very old school mentality. And I think it's why traditional media is dying, because you get much more entertaining and better content off a lot of alternative platforms where they don't stick to archaic principles like that, because it's good content, obviously, and the criticism was warranted. Like, I couldn't believe you didn't see the final part. I missed the second shot on the last where they didn't show McElroy hitting it. So that's bad too, but I missed that. But I was watching the end and I was like, you're not seeing the ball here. Like, that's unforgivable. Missing the final part in the Masters, it's just incredible. I thought that was interesting part of the episode where they got Riggs on. Just on something that annoys me, Cull often uses FaceTime to call people and Kirk criticizes him. I'm not sure why. I'm telling you, Kirk, if you're listening, FaceTime is actually better. FaceTime audio is actually better for podcast recordings because you get a wider bandwidth in the audio, so it will sound more natural. So if you can get a good internet connection, you should use FaceTime audio. Anyway, we'll be talking about microphones next. Just want to put out a correction as well, even though I'm not CEO of the network and this has nothing to do with me. I thought I heard Dave Cullinane say Nipples wants to help Steve Snell with his golf show. I might have misheard, but and maybe Cullinane just misspoke, but it's Steve Shaw who is doing the golf show, not Steve Snell, Steve Shaw. He's the golf guy. He's doing a golf show and allegedly Nipples is going to help with him. Quite a big step in KMS. Kirk turned on the equipment himself. So I don't know if any of you heard this, but apparently now Kirk has been trained up. He can go in, and I've used all the equipment Kirk uses, so I know exactly what's going on. Go in, turn on basically the deck, turn on the recorder, and get going. Like he can actually go in there by himself and go on another show. So that's a huge step, and it's only taken 6 years. Like it's amazing. It's only taken 6 years for one of the producers to think, God, maybe we should train Kirk how to just press a button. So they got there eventually. Well, 6 or 7 years because the show started in 2019. Anyway, I said for a long time that they should set it up so Kirk can just go in and turn it on and get going if needs be. And finally, we've got there. Question for all of you out there, which I was stunned by. Cullinane brought up that his lovely wife is having her 40th birthday this weekend, and then they're going away next weekend. And there was discussions that Cullinane might miss that 40th birthday weekend to go and do casework. I would not recommend you do that, Dave Cullinane, because you will never hear the end of it. There is no way you can miss your wife's 40th birthday weekend to go and record the case. Like that is unforgivable if you're a wife, isn't it? I don't know. Like, just work around it. It's my 40th birthday. Like it's been you knew when it was. It's been planned for ages. Like, and if something happens with the case, send somebody else with Kirk. Barstool's got a huge company. You're telling me there's not one other person who can't go with Kirk and record audio and video? And let's be honest, they'll probably do a better job than Cullinane anyway. I mean, what's that shithead they send to the live shows, and Barstool sends to everything? I mean, there's no way Cullinane needs to miss his wife's 40th birthday weekend to go and record shitty audio. Like, they're just not. Like, send someone else to record better audio. What else? We'll get into a bit of the Minifan gossip. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. Menace Minutes is usually just a short show, rabbiting on here. If you are watching live and you'd like to put questions in the chat, I haven't read the chat at all because it's distracting, but I'm going to read it in a minute. So any questions for me on my long-awaited and glorious network return, please put it in the chat. What else? They did mention construction next door in the building. And that's happening for me, actually, where I am. My podcast here is fucking annoying. But couldn't hear any. Couldn't hear any. So should be fine. Now, Minifan gossip. Well, Kane's dead. Kane's off the network. The bunnies have abandoned him. So Kane is dead man walking now. Pat Ford has got what he wanted. He's sought to cause trouble wherever he goes, and he's continued to do that. All I saw last night before I went to bed was someone, I don't even know who he is, has like a 2.5 video called "Who is Pat Ford," and it's got a picture of Pat Ford in his work helmet too. So we've got doxing as well. But I think Pat Ford, unfortunately, if you want to cause this much trouble, then there's not much you can do about it. Eventually it is going to come back on you. But very funny. Pat Ford's having a generational run. He's somebody that, since the show has ended, has probably increased his brand, he's gone up in the Horizon chart line from my good friend Jess Machado. What else is happening? I don't think there's been much other Minifan gossip. Obviously, we had the Mutt mix stuff. Spaces have been quite busy lately, and now we're just in that sort of 6-7 week build up to Laconia now. Obviously, as it gets closer, I'm becoming more and more morose that I won't be there. I'm going to be an emotional wreck. Like, you probably, like a week either side of Laconia, I might just disappear. I might just like go offline for a while, come back afterwards. But I can tell it's going to be very exciting. Lots of people are planning the trips, lots of new first timers going to a KMS show. And I just hope, and this is what I believe, that Kirk, and other Minifans have said this, that Kirk's a theatre guy. We know. Patricia brought him up as a theatre guy. He is going to, on that stage in Laconia, and go, KMS is coming back. And everyone's going to cheer. I'm not, sorry. You're all going to cheer very, very loudly. So, yeah. That's what I think. I think the show's going to come back. Because what's he going to do after the case is done? Like, once they've investigated this case, what's he going to do for the rest of the year? Go on Chasing Greens and B.O. Boys and House Call? No. He'll have to bring KMS back. That's what I think is going to happen. And what a pop it'll be if he says that on stage. Yeah. I guess thank you to the few people that donated to Darren's Venmo for me. He's kept that money. So I don't know. Maybe he can refund it to you. I don't know. But Darren turned on me. It was very, very disappointing. Not the supportive friend that I thought he was. All right. Well, I guess we're coming to the end of Manners Minutes. My good friend John, the CEO of this network, is doing Meeting of the Minds later. Let's be honest, John's always been more about Griff Vegas or GVE than he has been about the Minifan network. But he does a great job where he can. I believe Hot Wieners is gone, maybe, and this is to do with the fact that John and Warren has become besties with Kane. So what I think is happening is, what's the show Pat Ford and John and Warren used to do? I think that is coming back, but it's going to be Kane and John and Warren. I can't remember what the show's called. Anyway, oh yeah, I've got to go to the chat for questions. Yes, so I think John and Warren and Kane are doing a new show, and I think that's what's happening. Okay, let's just go through the questions in the chat. Slow Tobin, why is Mick mad at Mutt? Well, I think I went through that on the show because Mutt didn't even respond to Mick's messages. So I get Mutt maybe doesn't want to go on Mick's show because of Portnoy and doesn't want to take a chance. Drips in the office. Thank you, BDO. So Drips in the office is coming back with Kane and John and Warren. You heard it here first. Kane and John and Warren are bringing back Drips in the office. All right. I guess the issue for me is if you're Mutt, at least respond to Mick. Say, hey, Mick, I'd love to come on back. You know, I love you, but just at the moment, I've had a few problems with Portnoy. I've had those issues around whatever they were. I don't want to really stir up the hornet's nest right now. Let's park this for the moment. That was a nice way of communicating with someone you have respect for. So that's disappointing. Dave Scott 14, why are you not going to Laconia? It's just a huge commitment. Time, money, etc. It's just a huge commitment to go for the weekend. If I could go, like any of you fuckers, just drive there or go there in a short trip, I would definitely go. So that's it. But it's just too hard. And it's not, yeah. McSilver, why is your PayPal not up? Well, I don't think anyone wanted to support it, and that's fine. Look, no one owes me anything. Cupcake, want to hear about your feedback on Kirk's appearance with Jerry and Rico. I did talk about that at the top of the show, but I enjoyed it. McSilver, Mick should do a golf show. I think he should. After the mini golfs, this is from Jet 5. After the mini golf snub, do you think Kirk's wider Barstool opportunities are diminished due to the Big Cat Survivor move? This is a good question, Jet. And I actually don't think it's just about that. I think there's an element of that. And actually, there's the Family Feud thing. So I think Portnoy just accepted that they're going to go on Family Feud. Well, now I was speaking in the space whether Kirk would be on that, but there's no way they would let Kirk on Family Feud because of the danger factor that he could just say anything, even though it's not live. I'm sure it's edited Family Feud. So you could take him on with that. Anyway, I don't think they will. But sorry, I think there's a little bit of the Big Cat stuff, but I also think it's Barstool being aware that they can't age out. Like Big Cat, Portnoy, Kirk, these are all people getting to their 50s. Now, if you're a 20-year-old kid in college, you might look at that and go, these are old guys talking to me. So you've got to keep Barstool relevant and keep bringing in younger talent to keep it fresh. That doesn't say like Portnoy and Big Cat and Kirk's audience age with them. So that's fine. But, you know, to keep Barstool growing, you probably need to be careful about not just bringing all these old guys for every event. Just going through all the questions. Yes, a Venn diagram. That's right, 2 circles. Thank you. All right. Any last questions? Dave, do you think you will be upset with yourself for not going? Regret? It's a good question, Dave. Obviously, I'm already regretting not being in Laconia, but you know, when you're an adult, you have responsibilities to jobs, families, partners, etc. So, if I would, you know, totally selfish and not taking any of that into account, I would regret it. But Yeah, I'm upset I'm not going to be there. What can I say? Anyway, look, I guess that's it. That's all the questions from the chat. Really appreciate everybody watching Manners Minutes. I'll be back soon. Oh, actually, I thank the chat like I do Manners Lifestyle. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Dave Scott. Thank you, McSilver. BDO's here. He's having a tough week. Thank you, Jet Favre. Thank you, Sherlock Ho. Thank you, Slow Tobin. Thank you, the Nard Dog. Thank you, Greek Redneck. I know who that is. Thank you, 37 Theory. Thank you, Skittle. And Skittle's gone cruise over birth 100%. Come on. If your son's having a baby, you can't go on a cruise. All right. That's been Manners Minutes. I'm Manners. Thanks for all the support. Love you.